and different approaches to challenges you might be experiencing during the day in my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any new videos that we will be recording and sharing here. And today we will be discussing about high achievers and imposter syndrome. We will discuss about what is imposter syndrome, what are some reasons for it to arise, and what is the statistics, how often you can see imposter syndrome, and why is it more prevalent in high achievers. And we will be also considering some acceptance commitment therapy, solution focused brief therapy approaches that are used in psychotherapy and overall mental health field to support people who might be experiencing imposter syndrome. So, according to research, around 70% of all people are experiencing imposter syndrome in certain points at their lives. And this shows that this is quite normal for people to experience these feelings and thoughts, and anyone can have some automatic thoughts. And why this is happening, it can be related with your upbringing style, with the experiences you had. If you were, for instance, were constantly criticized, you are more likely to develop imposter syndrome and to have these thoughts. And oftentimes people, I'm noticing in psychotherapy sessions that people are saying, I'm hearing as if somebody else is speaking to me and constantly criticizing me and not believing in my capability, in my success. So this might be related in your childhood or young ages, or if people were bullied, they're more likely to experience imposter syndrome. However, on the other hand, many people are experiencing imposter syndrome, and it's quite normal to have these thoughts. It becomes problematic at the point if it's considerably impacting your daily functioning, and if it's causing barriers in your career and becoming an obstacle for you to take steps. So in this case, maybe it's better for you to receive professional support in order to be able to heal and to function fully. So what is imposter syndrome? Imposter phenomenon was identified by Clance in 1978, and despite external evidence of success, it's believing that your achievement is underserved and fearing exposure. And people who are having imposter syndrome oftentimes have thoughts that they are not really who they are not as competent or successful as they are, even in the evidence of success, even if they are very successful, if they have achieved a lot. And there is also a fear accompanied with it that everyone will find out that I'm not as competent as I think. And it affects high achievers most because you really care about your work, and high achievers also have high intelligence and high empathy levels. That's why they are more likely to overthink, to try to find solutions. And I feel I'm hearing very often with my clients and with the people whom I work that many of them are saying, I feel like an imposter. And what's interesting is that people who say this are often very highly accomplished professionals. Some of them are physicians, executive, attorneys, researchers, and entrepreneurs and leaders who have spent years developing expertise. So the first step towards helping yourself goes through increasing your awareness and noticing these thoughts and asking yourself how useful are these thoughts for you to achieve your goals, and also deciding for yourself what you would like to experience instead. If imposter thoughts were not here, which version of you would like to see, what you would like to experience. Maybe you would like to be more calm or confident, or you would like to be less impacted by these thoughts, and what you would like to achieve, and what would be different. For instance, imagine that imposter syndrome has disappeared at all. What would be different? What would other people notice about you, and what difference can it create in other people's lives if you were not stuck by imposter thoughts, and if you were actively engaging in your work or career or relationships? What might be different? What difference would it create? And if this has happened more often, if for instance confident version of you, if calm version of you showed up more often, what might be possible for you, and how would others notice that you are being that genuine, confident, calm version of you. So thinking about this and deciding what you really want, instead of just feeling stuck on I don't want to have imposter feelings or imposter thoughts, is the first step towards the change. And the second one, as I have mentioned, noticing these thoughts and learning to relate them as thoughts. And one of strategies to do this is simply saying your thoughts out loud and saying that I'm having a thought that I'm an imposter or I'm incapable. And even this would help you to realize that this is just thought and it doesn't have to be reality. And it will be easier for you to relate to a thought differently or diffuse from it. And once you will create this distant space from the thought, you can be less emotionally reactive, and you can intentionally choose how you would like to respond to it. So even if so that imposter thoughts might be automatic, maybe they are related with your childhood or experiences you had, and even if we cannot delete completely these thoughts, we can always learn how to relate to them differently and how to respond to them differently. For instance, try to go into the problem and try to notice whenever you are having imposter thoughts, how you are reacting, what are you doing generally, what's happening, and are you distracting yourself, are you trying to feel numb, are you trying not to think about it. And by the way, trying not to think about it actually also increases the intensity of the thought, and it can cause rumination, overthinking, and therefore simply noticing the thought might be more useful. And there are a lot of strategies you can try, including mindfulness meditation, and you can research about it in more details and deciding for yourself, as we have discussed. So what's happening exactly at that moment when you have these thoughts, which feelings are present there. Maybe anxiety is accompanied by it, maybe you feel sad, maybe you feel scared, maybe you feel fear. So how are you reacting after that? And when did you have these feelings? When did you have these thoughts? Maybe by asking these questions, you can help yourself to understand what has caused this problem, why you are constantly trying to trying to suppress these feelings or thoughts, or and understanding yourself better would help you to react differently, and how you would like to respond, how you would like to react to these thoughts. For instance, also thinking about why these thoughts are there. Generally, we are thinking a lot about certain things when we care about it. And if your mind is telling you that you are not capable, that you are not successful, this actually means that you care about your work, you care about your career, you care about your identity maybe, and your relationships. You want to be valued, you want to be heard, you want to be successful, and your self-development is important for you. So finding out what's on the other side of the fear or anxiety or these negative thoughts would also help you to understand yourself better and to relate to these feelings and thoughts differently. And feelings are our feelings are a natural way of being human, and just dead people don't have feelings or who are in comas. And this means that if you are caring deeply, if you are genuinely, authentically caring or thinking about something that's important for you, it's quite normal for you to have these thoughts. And so how you would like to respond to them. So maybe once you have found your values or what's important for you, you can decide and ask yourself, which small step can I take in that direction? For instance, if you have found that you care about your career or your education or yourself, what's the small step can be that can be taken on that direction? Maybe, for instance, if you are constantly thinking that you lack knowledge or you are incompetent, Maybe you can open a book and read for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, anything that's important for you or needed in order to improve your skills on certain area, or you can choose some other actions in order to fulfill or develop the skill that you think that is lacking. However, also noticing, like, if you are overreacting or overdoing, if you are constantly using certain strategies, if you are, for instance, imagine that you are trying to prepare for an exam, and if you are constantly overworking, reading a lot, and this may also relate to the desire to control everything. And at that point, realizing that we cannot control everything and there is uncertainty in every field, and we can do our best. However, how useful is it for you when you are overworking or overdoing? How it impacts other fields of your life, other versions of you. And also, realizing this can help to create more balance between work and your life, or relaxing, like having other activities in your life. So at the point when if you notice that this is a strategy to try to control everything, realizing that we cannot control everything and it's not possible to control everything, and again doing certain things in the service of your values, of what's important for you, can be another strategy. And what's the worst case scenario? For instance, what's your mind telling you? If you can go following the thought, like, what are you scared of? What are you fearing? Maybe there was a certain event in your life when you had a negative experience, and maybe you are scared of that experience, that it will be repeated again, and your mind is trying to protect you from possible negative experience or trauma. So also asking yourself these questions can help you to understand yourself better, and like what you would like to feel instead, if you don't want to feel anxious, if you don't want to have these imposter thoughts, which thoughts you would like to have instead, and which version of you would be present there when you will be having less imposter syndrome thoughts, or you will learn to relate to them differently. And why is this important for you to be that version of you? And where exactly did you see this competent version, confident or calm version of you in the past? What helped you to achieve this success? What was there about you that brought you, that helped you to succeed during those times? And which qualities did you use? Which environments helped you? Which people helped you? Or which mindset helped you to achieve that outcome in the past? And realizing this would help you to find your resources and your qualities that you can use again if you want to experience or become the same version of you. So if you were truly incompetent, would you be worrying this much about whether you are doing a good job? This is another good question, would help you to realize that actually the fact that you are caring so much about your work and thinking so much is indication that you are quite competent, caring, and you are not incapable. And what I often notice is that highly capable people see completely that others miss, because they have higher IQ, higher empathy levels. They are able to notice some details and try to make some conclusions, and this might be also uh, difficult for them. And in this case, they can use mindfulness, meditation, or other relaxation strategies in order to help them to decrease overthinking. This is another conversation topic. And early in our careers, we may think that a field is relatively straightforward, and then we learn more. However, even people who are very competent in their field, or they are very qualified, still can have some imposter thoughts. And maybe a young professional may think, I need to know 10 things. An experienced professional realizes that there are thousands of things I could know. And actually, the more we learn, the more we realize that there are even more things we need to learn. And according to research, also, when people's skills or knowledge increase, they have found that they know nothing. And this is another side of the coin, that actually maybe even the fact that you are thinking about your performance or about your career, about your work, about your skills is already a sign that you know a lot and you are striving, you are making efforts to learn more, to do more, and to develop yourself and your skills. So experts also understand that there is rarely one perfect answer for the question. So when someone says, I feel like an imposter, I might ask a different question. What does this concern say about you? And often the answer is revealing that it says that they care about doing quality work, they care about responsibilities, they care about people around them, and they want to contribute meaningfully. Those qualities are not signs of an imposter. So at this point you would realize, so not everything your mind is telling you is the truth, and that's why it's important to see your thoughts from distance, to analyze them or to journal them from time to time. And oftentimes also people are noticing that these thoughts are repeating, and once you are able to detect that certain thoughts are not useful for you, you can learn to relate to them differently, to develop different relationship with these unhelpful thoughts, and to decrease their impact and to be less impacted by them. And it's important to be interested in exceptions. In solution-focused brief therapy, we are helping the people to realize when the problem was less. For instance, if a person doesn't want to experience imposter syndrome, when was the time that they experienced it the least, and what was filling the space of imposter syndrome? Oftentimes they realized that they were feeling confident, they were feeling calm, they were feeling happy. And what led you to feel, to experience this feeling, so to be that version? Sometimes people find that it was their culture, their religion, their mindset, spiritualism, music, or any other beliefs that were helping them to become that person. And what was the time when you handled a difficult situation effectively, a moment when someone benefited from your expertise? You can remind yourself how many people expressed their gratitude to you, or their genuine gratitude that you helped them. This is another exception and indication that you are not imposter, that you are a successful person, and you have done a lot of important things in life. And which strengths, which qualities were you using? What was happening, and what difference did it make in the past when you were able to be more confident, more effective, more calm, more caring, or you were having less thoughts? Maybe you realized that when you were helping others, or when you were physically more active, or maybe you were having different diet or different sleeping patterns, these imposter syndrome thoughts have decreased. So you can maybe repeat the same strategies for yourself, to support yourself if you notice that imposter thoughts are increasing. Because while your attention may currently be focused on what you don't know, there is also an evidence of what you already know, and maybe you have forgotten. And thinking about exceptions, history of success, can help you to remind about your capabilities. And one of the dangers of professional growth is that we sometimes become so focused on the gaps that we stop noticing the capabilities that helped us to get where we are. And maybe the goal is not to completely eliminate every self-doubting thought, and this is not possible. Maybe the goal is to become more balanced in what we pay attention to. So anytime when you notice that you are having imposter thoughts, you can intentionally redirect your attention towards something else that would create more meaning in your life. For instance, maybe you could say, okay, I accept that my mind is generating a lot of imposter syndrome thoughts right now, so how I would like to respond to it? what's important for me to do right now. Maybe you will find out that connecting with a friend or connecting with people you care is something important for you or meaningful for you. Or maybe you will notice that uh, developing your skills, reading or working is important, and you can simply choose to take steps in that direction and intentionally shift your attention towards what matters. And each time when you do this, you actually help yourself to create habits, and by time it will be easier for you to react differently and to create more useful habits. And of course, there are some areas where we are still learning, and while recognizing the strengths, skills, and experiences that are already present, we also do not ignore that there are certain things that we need to learn. But 70% of thoughts that we have, automatic thoughts that we have, according to research, is negative. Therefore, redirecting your attention and learning to notice your thoughts is important in order to have a good quality of life or to function well. Because professionals who continue growing are rarely the ones who believe they know everything. Also, becoming aware of the fact that there are a lot of things that we need to learn. However, keeping balance of learning, and when your mind says you that you don't know anything or that you are a failure, also realizing that this is not accurate reflection of reality is another side of the story. And statistics, around 70% of high achievers report experiencing imposter syndrome at some point, and it's particularly prevalent in first generation high achievers, in women in male dominated fields, for instance, and in anyone who has achieved something beyond what was modeled or expected in their original environment. So if this is the case with you, actually these thoughts may be an indication that you are trying to achieve something new, or you are the leader in this field, or you are the one who is trying to contribute for society or for this field. So again, changing your relationship with anxiety, with uncomfortable feelings that may come up with these imposter thoughts is another factor that might help you to relax and to feel calm. So overall, acceptance commitment approach to imposter thoughts is helping the person to realize and step back and to realize that these are just thoughts and not accurate assessment of competence. And maybe you might have some thoughts that I don't belong here, I'm going to be found out, my success was luck, and these are thoughts that your mind generates, not objective facts about your worth or competence. And we have also mentioned about diffusing strategies, telling that my mind is telling me this, that helps to create distance from your thoughts, and that helps you to create psychological flexibility of your actions and behavior that might make it easier for you to take more intentional actions when you have anxiety or these thoughts. And the next step is taking committed action, understanding what's important for you and taking the smallest step towards that direction that matters for you. And this action would indicate competence more effectively than waiting for the feeling to arrive. So oftentimes also I notice that people are waiting to feel perfect, to feel less anxious, to feel happy in order to act. However, acceptance commitment therapy is encouraging us to take action even in the presence of uncomfortable feelings or thoughts, or even when we feel depressed, sad, or anxious. And oftentimes this actually, your behavior starts to change, your emotions, your thoughts. So instead of waiting for the feelings to be perfect, or for the environment to be perfect, or for the conditions to be perfect, we can try to experiment and take some steps towards that direction that matters for us. And oftentimes many people are noticing that this creates change, this creates overall change. So you are also welcome to share your own experiences next time when you will join the session, how it went, if you have tried anything like this. And what challenges you had, which feelings you had, which progress you had, and what difference it made for you to try to experiment. And when have you felt genuinely competent or that you are successful? And even if it was briefly, even in a small area, and what do you think has contributed for it? Did you study more? Did you take certain courses? Was there any social support? And what does it say about your actual competence? And what evidence is real capability that do you have that the imposter voice conveniently ignores? These questions build a more accurate evidence base. And also, another strategy is writing down your success. For instance, while you are succeeding, you can write down and journal about evidences of your success in the past. When were times when you had some challenges, but you successfully were able to overcome all these challenges to support other people or to achieve what you want, or when imposter syndrome was less. Maybe you can mention the feedback that you had, or people who felt grateful for you, or uh, like any comments that they had. And at times when you will feel sad or anxious or upset, or you will have some imposter syndrome thoughts, you can open this journal and read to remind yourself about history of your success and your evidence. And normalizing intervention. Research by clients and IMS have found that simply learning that 70% of high achievers are experiencing imposter syndrome in certain levels of their life uh, helps us to realize that we all have some features in common, and it's quite normal to experience these thoughts, and that only even this fact can help to relate to imposter syndrome differently. And you are experiencing one of the most common high achievers psychological experiences, and this is quite normal. So, as we have mentioned, when imposter syndrome becomes paralyzing is during the times when it becomes a barrier for you to function fully, or to build your full capability, to work on your full capacity. And at this time, people might refer to more specialized support, or to come to psychotherapy. And also, according to research, if you are able to share your challenges with anyone whom you trust, with any people who are close to you, it was also found that it significantly decreases thoughts about thoughts about imposter syndrome and feelings that are coming, the feelings that are coming with it, because it's in a sense you are externalizing your feelings and thoughts, and this creates relief, relaxation, and you are being less impacted by these thoughts. So somebody asked, is imposter syndrome the same as low self-esteem? They overlap. There are certain symptoms that overlap, however, they are not exactly the same. Low self-esteem involves a general negative evaluation of self-worth, while imposter syndrome is specifically about perceived fraudulence of success, and often people with relatively positive self-esteem still might have imposter thoughts. So maybe they think that they can succeed at certain domains, but in certain fields, these thoughts are emerging. And also, if to consider from process-based perspective, you can also consider when exactly are you being triggered, or you are having these thoughts. Maybe certain events are triggering this, maybe certain feelings or people, environments, or anything, like what's triggering it, when exactly you have these thoughts, and maybe you can find some answers for yourself from there. And also there was another question that said, will always have imposter syndrome? Many high achievers report that imposter thoughts decreases competence, increases, especially professionals. New professionals are more likely to have imposter syndrome thoughts. And if we consider from acceptance commitment perspective, we never want any feelings or thoughts to disappear or completely to delete them. and we accept that this is not realistic. So even if we accept that the fact that we still have automatic thoughts about our performance, we can learn to relate to them differently and remind ourselves these strategies from time to time. And it means you care about your work, and changing relationship with these thoughts is another strategy. So we have mentioned about main strategies that you can use, approaches you can use if you want to support yourself and if you are having imposter syndrome thoughts. And I mentioned briefly about social focus brief therapy questions that we're asking in the sessions from our clients to support them and to understand what they want, what change they want to see, and how to take small steps towards that version of them. And final step of solution focused approach is helping the person to describe the change they want to see. So how would you know that this version is already here, and if you already started to act as if you are being a confident version of you, calm version, patient version of you, or the one who relates to these thoughts differently, what difference would you see in yourself, and how would you know that this version is present? And we are helping to describe the person about themselves in details that helps them to understand what they need and what they can do in order for this to happen. I hope this session was helpful for you, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications if you want to learn more about these topics and to follow my content. And don't forget to share this video with your friends if you find it helpful. Thank you for your time, thank you for coming, and take good care of yourself. See you in the next videos again.